This time on Square Roots, Mushroom Kingdom marred by the blorps. It comes without warning. First you balloon to blimp size, then the rolling, you roll away. As of press time, the cause and cure are unknown. Bowser's Inside Story!
Showtime!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hey pal, quick question before you move on. How come I don't get a fun nickname every week?
Do you want one?
How come we don't all get nicknames?
I don't want one.
Give yourself a nickname and then give me a nickname.
I only thought of one, though.
Welcome to Square Roots. I'm Jim Blockhead Banks.
All right. And then Matthew... Starlo Van Zant.
Our own Jim Banks is real good off the cuff.
I was gonna say Blorbs, but I was gonna say Johnny Blorbs Brandon for John.
I'm good with that. I like it.
And Vanessa.
Hello.
Vanessa.
Is that your
happy.
nickname?
I'm happy without a nickname.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs.
This warning up front. This is going to be an angry episode. I'm going to yell at John. I'm going to yell at Jim. I'm not going to yell at Vanessa. So I will take that frustrations out on John again. John loves it when straight men yell at him.
You're the only one I let do it.
That's real special.
Yeah. Won't
What
let
is
Howard
this
Stern
game?
do it. Won't let Bob Larson do it.
I don't even know who that is. Are
What
you
about
saying
Joe
that? Are you
Rogan?
comparing me to like a shock jock?
I also
What
will
about Ben
never
Shapiro?
let Joe Rogan or Ben Shapiro yell at me.
You definitely should not. Hey,
What's this game?
what's
What
this
is
game?
it?
Yeah, what is it?
First of all,
Because-
contest winner.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Congratulations, Bowser's Inside Story.
It did win on
Thank you, listeners.
Bowser Day, and I realized why the other day was Vore
Vore
Day.
Day,
It's
yes.
8-8.
Oh, got it.
8. That's why it's Vore Day. I still think it should be 8-9 because 7-8-9, but
Wasn't that yesterday? Right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
yesterday was 8-8. Today is 8-9. Look, let's just make it Vore weekend.
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey,
Why does
there
it
you
have
go.
to be one day?
yeah,
There's always room for seconds when it comes to Vore.
it's true. Got to get those Bowser tummies full.
Can we so for a listener that doesn't know what Vore is, we should probably say up top,
Should
John,
we?
can you explain it to someone who might not be well versed in
Well,
you know,
Vore.
We should also CW this
Oh,
episode.
geez.
CW Vore.
Yeah,
CW Vore. Yeah.
As well as numerous other kinks that I was not expecting.
yep.
Yeah.
The inflation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Vore is it's a fantasy act, so it's not a real thing that people do. That's cannibalism. That's something entirely different. Vore,
We aren't cannibals. No.
no. Vore is swallowing up someone whole and them living inside you like happily and alive. That
Like
is-
in a very cozy way, right?
Yeah, it's like they're like it's sort of close to being pregnant with them. They're like inside your tummy. That is Vore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who doesn't like to be cozy?
Yeah.
Eh.
Well, we certainly don't want to yuck anyone's yum. So
Yeah.
if you're real into Vore, skip this season because I'm going to make a lot of jokes.
What's the opposite of yucking a yum? Like shaming a squick or something like that? Squelching a squick? You know, like if I'm
supposed to tolerate other people's yums. Shouldn't they tolerate my squicks as well?
Oh, what? So we have to tolerate intolerance, Vanessa?
That's
No.
right. So much for the tolerant left.
Kind of, though. Like, in a public space, I don't want to know that much about your kinks.
Guys, Square Roots podcast is not a public forum.
That's
true.
This is not a public forum. Now, any sort of correspondence you sent to us is certainly a public thing.
Oh, where were we?
Bowser's Inside Story, episode 1.
I have a feeling this whole season is going to be like this. By the way, where we're just going to talk about everything.
That's what the game feels like. Like, at no point do I feel like this game's telling me to go anywhere or doing anything or having any sort of story other than, there's Bowser and he's walking. He's walking from one spot to another.
There is
Mario's in his tummy.
One mission that's inherent in the game is to get Mario and Luigi out of Bowser's body.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess, yeah.
I guess. But they also seem to have other plans.
Yeah, they don't seem that concerned about it. They're just kind of chilling in there. They love helping him out. Like, the best is... We'll talk about it in the episode, obviously, but the best is when Bowser's, trying to pick something up, and you have to, go, massage his muscles from inside his arm.
Ew.
Yeah. Wait till you get to his legs.
No.
I mean, this episode ends in his fire pipe, so...
Listeners, here's some inside baseball. For whatever reason, something I ate or something I encountered when we were recording last night, because this is our second day in a row of recording.
Oh, Vanessa has the blorbs.
I have the blorbs. I am legit upset to my stomach today, recording this lying on my back on my couch. I'm going to attempt to stick it out for the whole episode, but the more we talk about this blorb stuff, the less likely I feel like that is.
Did you eat a mushroom from a suspicious vendor?
Of course. But I mean, that's nothing new. The old mushroom man comes to your house and you just pop that right in.
Yeah, that's what everybody in Toad Town does.
Apparently.
Okay, so before we get there, let's talk about how we leveled up. Matt, why don't you go first, buddy?
You always fucking...
It could be me.
Right. Hey, I actually do have a pretty quick and easy level up. And it just occurred last night after we recorded last week's episode. I was scrolling through Amazon Prime, having had several drinks, so in an altered state, and ran across, so I was scrolling through their animation section, like you do when you're drunk and you just want to fall asleep watching something, and I ran across a bunch of animated Tintin movies from the early 70s or the late 60s or something from French company. So, First of all, hands up if you even know what a Tintin is.
I love Tintin.
It's amazing. I also love Tintin, and there are a bunch. So I guess what it was, I kind of did some research on it while I was watching it before I fell asleep. And I guess what it was a television show that was aired in Europe, a European television show, by a French company that really just kind of takes the stories of Tintin and turns them into 2 30-minute episodes per adventure, and kind of panel by panel animates them with the same. There's no changes to the art style or anything, and it was really cool. And there's a bunch. I watched one and I really enjoyed it. I love Tintin. I grew up reading the Tintin comics as a kid
too.
You know what's funny, Vanessa? It's kind of sad. Kids today, and I don't want to be a kids today guy, because let me preface this by saying that every generation is raised differently and every generation comes out okay. So the whole concept of kids today and bashing your kids' generation or the young generation by the older generations really bugs me. And I don't even just mean boomers blaming millennials for everything that's ever happened wrong in the last fucking 20 years, despite the fact that they're always responsible for the problems. I mean, I even see it today from my generation, millennials, bashing the Zoomer generation. It really fucking bugs me. Kids today, they fucking grew up with internet and cell phone. We didn't have. Shut the fuck up. Every generation is raised differently. They all turn out fine.
Yeah, we didn't have internet and cell phone, and it sucked. And then we got it, and it was good.
It always shocks me and amazes me when I go to like a Barnes & Noble these days in the kids section, which I do. I mean, not these days, but I do a lot because I have kids and I buy them books. And they have now huge sections for like kids graphic novels. There's hundreds of the fucking things. And a lot of them are actually, I've read some of them because I buy them for my kids. Some are pretty fucking good. Raina Telgemeier is a goddamn talent, and you're nuts if you haven't read Sisters and Smile. But anyway, our generation, Vanessa, grew up, I feel like reading stuff like Tintin because we didn't have all those options.
We had Tintin and we had Asterix, and that was about it. Tintin is very good, except there are a few books that are completely unreadable because the racism is just too blatant.
Even this show that was produced in the 70s did not do Tintin in the Congo because they thought it was too racist.
Yeah, you cannot do Tintin in the Congo. Tintin in America, also questionable.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that are not great.
Yeah, Tintin is sort of like an Indiana Jones type character, but he's a young
boy
reporter.
Yeah.
Boy reporter.
He's not really
Although
a
his
boy.
actual age is never really clear.
I think he's old enough to drink. He's like 21, but he's like young.
He's 21.
What? He's 21?
There's a lot of drinking in that series.
Yeah, he has no interest in women. He hangs out with a bearded sea captain instead.
Captain
And his
Haddock.
dog.
That's right, Captain
Snowy.
Haddock, his dog Snowy, Professor Calculus, my favorite character. My absolute favorite Tintin moment is when they accuse Professor Calculus of acting the goat, and he freaks out, and there's like 8 pages of him stomping around yelling, acting the goat, acting the goat. I'll show you acting the goat.
I've never been sure if I pronounced this correctly, but I believe it's Hergé.
Hergé?
Yeah.
Hergé? Hergé is, he's a real talent for spacing out panels in a way that a lot of American comics didn't pick up until like the fucking 90s. Legitimately. Anyway, so I don't want to go on too long, but I will say, if you're at all curious, if you grew up with Tintin or if you're just interested in this kind of old, adventure series, there are a ton of these that now they've been cut into hour-long movies for, I don't know when they did it, but that's how it is on Prime. So it's not like a show with a season. There's just a bunch of these hour and 15-minute long, Tintin movies, and they're fucking great. So go check those out. They're on Amazon Prime and probably other services. And I will say, I have not ever actually watched these, but, there were a bunch of Asterix movies on there as well, which I know were big in Europe for a long time and never really landed over here. And I've never seen them, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out as well. Vanessa.
Yeah.
How did you level up?
You may recall last week I talked about a movie I saw that I did not care for very much.
Yes.
I saw another movie that I did not care for very much called
Tintin.
The Circle.
Oh, is that the Tom Hanks one?
Yeah, is that the Tom Hanks one? Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. And I thought it would be sort of like a tech thriller. Like, what's that movie that I always think is Shattered Glass, but it's not Shattered Glass? Jim, you know which one I'm talking about.
Who's in it?
The M. Night Shyamalan movie.
That guy with like curly hair and someone else, and he's sort of like a spoof Bill Gates, and he goes and works at his tech company, and he's allergic to sesame seeds.
Oh, no.
The Social Network?
Is it Ryan Phillippe is in it?
Hold on.
This is not ringing bells.
It's a movie that, in my mind,
is it Jumping Jack
Antitrust?
Flash?
It is Antitrust.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good pull, Jim.
Yeah, so I was expecting something like that, like kind of a silly net antitrust tech thriller kind of thing. But instead, it was just dumb. It wanted to be that, but didn't actually provide any motivation for characters deciding this was evil. It's like they were just like suddenly, oh, I think this is evil, actually. Okay, bye.
Isn't it supposed to be like a thinly veiled criticism of Facebook?
Yeah, and it is not thinly veiled at all. And it has this great cast. It's so frustrating. Like, John Boyega's in it, but he's barely in it. And he's supposed to be sort of like the voice of reason. He's the guy who actually invented this technology, and now he's like, it's not being used the right way. And he like tells Emma Watson all this, and then he just goes away and is not in the movie for the rest of the movie. And she doesn't actually listen to him at all. She's just like, okay, whatever. I like it. It's ridiculous. So watch Antitrust instead. That's an amazing movie. Ryan Phillippe, Tim Robbins, Rachel Lee Cook. You can't get more 90s than Antitrust from 2001. Johnny, how did you level up?
Well, August 2020, Johnny turned 41. So.
That's not true.
What?
Is your birthday tomorrow, John?
My birthday is tomorrow.
Happy
Whoa,
birthday!
happy birthday, John!
Hey, Johnny!
So,
J-O-H-N.
Do you ever think about how you might still be doing this podcast when you're 50?
I might be.
I hope he is.
I think about that, and it weirds me out.
Yeah.
And John, I have to correct you. You're not going to be 41. You're going to be 41.
Oh, sorry. 41. Yes, I will be 41 in a few hours.
Anyway, the point that I was trying to make there was that I also think about how you might still be doing this podcast when you're 50, and I think we should have like a cut expiration date for how old you can be when you're on the show.
Why are you trying to kick John off the show?
Just teasing.
Wow.
I got upset because I thought I had missed your birthday because I was confused about what day it is when we're recording versus the fake future that you're living in, the real future when listeners hear this, and it already will have passed. Time is very confusing. Did I mention I am sick?
Time is not present in her dimension.
It is not.
So there was that. So yeah,
Happy birthday.
Yay! I don't know how I'm going to celebrate. I think I'm going to do something next weekend and have a cake, but with like one friend because there's a pandemic going on. That's okay.
We can have a virtual party for you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of cake, John?
Oh, well, I do really like, and this is not very high class, but the Dairy Queen ice cream cake. Love.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
That's there's nothing. I mean, not high class, John. That's fine dining. That's a delicacy. Dairy Queen, really. I always think of Dairy Queen as a Texas and Southern United States of America chain.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on an island with this old Dairy Queen. Actually, I'll put a picture of it into the group chat just so you can admire that, because it's like a landmark. It's
That's
like
cool.
60 years old, I think. Dairy Queen. And it was right near my house, and so I'd walk there. We didn't go there for years. I don't know why my mom didn't like us going there, even though we drove by it literally every day. Probably to go to and from school, I had to drive past.
Don't you go to that Dairy Queen,
That's
John
amazing.
Brandon. Oh no, if you're there. That's my impression of John's mother. She's British.
So it's still there, and it's still the pictures in the group chat. It is very old building.
Whoa.
I wonder if Dairy Queen's one of those. Like, Dairy
it's
Queens are
cute.
still around, and they still have that blizzard. But like everything else, nothing on their menu is like it was when I was like a kid. Like, they don't make them like that anymore. Now all the Dairy Queens are like microwaved hot dogs.
Their Texas menu is hilarious. They're just like the regular cheeseburger is called the Belt Buster.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They
boy.
still have them in Texas, don't they? I need to go.
Yeah.
There was something about those. The burgers were a little different. They were more like a Whataburger burger. And I remember
Yeah,
them
they're
having a
pretty
ton
good,
of like
actually. I'm not gonna
mustard
lie.
and onions on them, which is
Yeah.
the goddamn dream. That's
That
all a
Dairy
burger
I went
should
to a
be.
Dairy Queen for like the first time a couple years ago, and I was with a friend. We were going through the drive-in, and I was like watching the car in front of us, and I'm like, "She turned the ice cream upside down. Did you see that?"
Yeah.
She's like, that's what they do.
It's the best.
So that
Yeah,
Dairy
that's cool.
Queen, it opens in April, and the first day that Dairy Queen opens, there's a lineup. And in Quebec in April, sometimes it can be like -20.
Wow.
And there's
It's
still
tradition. They got to get their Dairy Queen.
exactly.
I wonder if they
yeah.
still have like the Belt Buster and all that stuff. The ones around me are all like Dairy Queen, like Grill and Goes, and it's just all like
that's what
shitty
they are
microwave
here.
food. It's the worst.
Yeah, they have a giant nacho, and you can get orders of tacos at the Dairy Queens of Texas.
Yeah.
The ones at Quebec, at least that one never had like regular food. It just had ice cream.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
You listen, Joel Brandon. I know what type of person goes to the Dairy Queen. You stay away.
We're never going to the Dairy Queen.
We're never going to the Dairy Queen.
Why do you
what?
smell like a belt buster?
See, the first time I started regularly going was when I had my own job, and then I'd go on the way home from school sometimes.
Those blizzards are still the best goddamn thing you can buy. Like,
they're
ice
great.
cream.
They are good.
They destroy my tummy. Like,
Yeah,
really?
me too.
I'm lactose intolerant, I guess. I don't know, but I love them. And you can get them with like fudge in the middle. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, who hasn't gone? Jim, have you leveled up yet?
I haven't.
How did you level up, buddy?
I got a tattoo yesterday. It's an Ultras. And it's
beautiful.
It's a big boy.
Last time on Square Roots, it was like hurting you to the point that you're having a hard time recording. How's it doing?
Yeah, last night
that's
it
all
was
in the back matter of the latest episode.
It was my arm was so sore and it was so hot. I could like feel the heat from my arm.
Yeah.
You were turning like
on my
sheet pale,
face.
just sitting there.
Yeah, I was just in so much pain. Like I had been in pain like all day. Like it was just constant, and so I just wanted to go to bed. Today I feel so much better, and I took the bandage off and greased it up.
Hold it
Looks
up.
good. Can you see?
Yeah, it looks good. Those colors look good. The purple and the blue and the stripes.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's great.
Look at the way he did. You can tell the tentacles that are in the back. Like there's different shading on them.
Yeah,
So there's like dimension to it. It looks super cool.
it looks great.
Shoot.
Listeners, you can find
Taco
pictures
China.
of that in the Square Roots Facebook group.
The Square Roots podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people.
Best name I ever came up with.
Was I the last one to level up? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's open. So what should we call this? I wrote Tummy Tome.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Tummy
we
Tome?
certainly. There's nothing in the game that would. There's nothing like. There's no quest log. So
I mean, there's
The Tummy Tome.
you call
Star
Square Roots
Road.
Vore Diaries.
All right.
The
So this
fire pipe.
game has a great
Tummy Tome's good.
opening. Like when you start the game, it just kind of opens on Toad Town, and it's kind of this idyllic little village, and there's this little toad talking to his mom in their house, and she's like, "Oh, get your dad, it's time for dinner." And the toad goes, "Dad," and then you can hear a rumbling. And this is different depending on which version of the game that you're playing, but on the 3DS version, it shows the door that the dad was supposed to come in, and he rolls in because he's got the blorbs.
Yes. And this was the first shock of the game for me because I went in anticipating vore. Like I knew what I was going to get as far as that was concerned, but I did not know that it also had this strong inflation kink element.
Just wait till you get to the part where you force feed Bowser.
Part of me wants to ask what an inflation kink is, and part of me already knows and shudders to have to listen to it
It's
explained.
just what it sounds like.
So cut to like a meeting happening in Peach's castle. They've got a bunch of toads and Peach, and she's like, "We need to address the blorbs because it's an epidemic in the kingdom. We need to figure out what is going on." And then all the little toads are really funny. Like one of them yells out like, "My son has the blorbs." And like they're all just talking nonsense. Mm-hmm. And then so I was going to ask you guys: are these things in other games? These star sprites?
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
Are they?
they are from Superstar Saga. It's just the first.
Superstar
okay.
Saga.
Because like they talk about them like I should already know what they are, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the hell's a star sprite?"
I think we're going to call the star sprites.
Boy,
The
I
stars-
did not. I just assumed that it was introducing new stuff to Mario like all these games do, where it's just like, here's a thing you should already know about.
You know, the Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Mallow.
Yeah, Prince Mallow.
So the Star Sprites and Fawful were both in Superstar Saga.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Why the fuck aren't we playing Superstars? John?
That's not an RPG though, is it?
Yeah, it is. These are called Mario and Luigi RPG 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think there's 5 of them total.
I think it's 1, 2, 3, and vore.
Right,
Yeah.
sorry. But this
And
is
this is
3.
vore?
So it'd be 1, 2, 3, and then vore, and then vrive.
So in the year of sequels, we're playing something that is a sequel, but to something else.
But we have played a Mario RPG before.
We have, yes.
So
And they're
so-
all interconnected.
Yeah.
So, John, that leads me to my next question. Is this supposed to be like an adult Star Sprite, or is this like a baby one? Because I got the impression this was like a baby one.
No, it's a grown-up, I think.
This is a grown-up Star Sprite? It looks like
Yeah.
a baby.
No, it's like it's smart and sassy.
Looks like a baby.
Okay. I don't know that. I did play about a quarter of Superstar Saga, but I don't remember that much about it. So I can't help you.
So they're like, I guess everybody was under the impression that the Star Sprites would know how to cure the blorbs.
Yeah.
But they don't. Nobody does.
No.
So there's a doctor's intern here who says that she also doesn't know how to cure the blorbs.
What good is she?
Yeah. And then everyone's like, well, let's just wait for Mario.
And everyone's like, look, the only thing you can do to prevent the blorbs is just, stay away from each other and don't eat poison mushrooms. And everyone's like, but it's my right to be able to eat poison mushrooms as much as I want.
I like how that comes up later. Like, that's the thing they had to reach for. That's the cause of the blorbs. These new rare mushrooms from the stranger that they've been eating.
Yep. It took a while to isolate the cause.
Yeah.
And of course, they are all going to lean on Mario and say to Mario, "Save us," to which Mario will respond, "No."
But Mario does show up, and he brings Luigi. And I put a screenshot in the notes, but this little toad's reaction to Luigi showing up is mean and hilarious.
They are so mean to Luigi
I
in
know.
this whole game.
That's a running joke in the Mario and Luigi's series, as well as how much everyone disrespects Luigi.
They're like, it's Mario, our hero. Oh, and his brother.
Yeah, the actual dialogue from this toad is, it's like, oh, I'm so glad Mario's here, Mario. And then he looks at Luigi and he goes, oh, Luigi came too. Super. They make it hard to like Luigi in the game though, because he's a coward.
Mm-hmm.
Was Luigi in? Oh yeah, Luigi's voice was in a Mario RPG, right? That was it.
We found that letter that was like, I wish I could be a good plumber like my brother.
Yeah,
Right.
he had a wish on Star Mountain or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess we find out why he wasn't there, because no one likes him and he's terrible.
He can do everything Mario can do.
I know. I love Luigi, and I think as like
I
a
love
little
Luigi,
brother,
too.
I understand. I feel like Luigi's the little brother, and you can
Yeah.
understand the scorn of not being as good as your older brother.
The score. The deep-seated resentment. So let's see what happens next. So Mario doesn't even really do anything.
Yeah, they go to the panel discussion. Luigi promptly falls asleep.
That's pretty funny.
And Mario's like, okay, so there's a lot of Charles Martinet doing gibberish Italian, which is, I love it.
It's so silly and funny. Like, if I was Italian, I would hate it, but
Yeah, well, I would wonder, like, what does the Italian translation, how does that handle Mario's gibberish? Because that's a real place. That's a real language.
Recipe, pasta, pasta, pasta.
But yeah, every time he's having a conversation, it's just like, it's random nonsense words. It's so good.
I do.
Except
one thing.
for Luigi.
And let's go. And
You know,
Mario.
there are like slight differences in the voice work between the 2DS version and the 3D, or like the remastered one that we're playing in the original.
Oh.
Like they make Luigi more of a sad sack in the remake. And Mario's gibberish is pretty consistent. Like in this one there's a few phrases that he has. In the original it's mainly just one.
Oh, like the
Yeah.
Yeah, there's what do you think of the art difference between the two versions?
I appreciate the like charm of the original, but I think I prefer the 3DS version.
I thought in screenshots the original looks better. Like it has a more like clean sprite look, but playing the 3DS version, it's like, oh no, this looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a lot more fluid.
Yeah. So there's definitely good to both. I do like the smooth animation of Bowser in the DS version, but I think the shading and stuff on Bowser in the new version is really pretty. And they're
really
both
good.
story-wise identical, pretty much, but there is an extra mode. It's like a short couple of hours story about Bowser's kids. That's more of an RTS.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So there is that. So Mario shows up and they're trying to discuss, I guess they're just going to assume that Bowser did it, right?
They don't seem to mention Bowser, do they?
Oh, maybe they don't.
They treat Bowser like he's like a neighboring country. Like his kingdom like neighbors theirs, because he shows up and he's like, I want to be part of the meeting. Why wasn't I invited? And they're like, you're the villain. And he's like, well, I live in the kingdom too.
Yeah, but Bowser also like he essentially shows up and then he immediately rips his mask off and he's like, I was gonna be reasonable, but this is out of control.
Bowser is a toddler. That's his whole gimmick. I mean, it's not even a joke. Like, Bowser's a toddler. He has no control over his emotions. He's a bully and is mean and just fights and punches to get what he wants. And that's it. They don't characterize him any deeper than that.
But I do love that he is angry at being shut out of a meeting.
Yeah. He feels left out.
Yeah.
Well, but then he says, like, I live here too. I deserve to be here. So maybe he does live in the Mushroom Kingdom.
What's the hierarchy there? He's a king. He's got a castle, but does he live? Is he part of the Mushroom Kingdom?
I think
maybe
it's like
more of a Mushroom Empire.
It's like a neighboring kingdom, right?
It's like
I don't think so.
Their House Toad and he's House Koopa, and he lives in Winterfell, and Peach lives in
Except
King's
for that house,
Landing.
he's a king and she's a princess, and she has a father who is also a king. We've seen him in games. I mean, I know there's no logic behind it, so why bother? Why bother?
We didn't even stream us talking about the other house in Game of Thrones, House Clumps, where they're all played by Eddie Murphy.
I was thinking about that.
You were thinking about the
symbol is
Clumps?
a butt farting.
Yeah, well, I was like, what's their sigil? John's like, a fart, and I was like, what about a butt fart?
We should have been streaming that one, I guess.
We should have.
Yeah, PUBG conversations.
Oh boy. So the theory is that maybe the blurbs come from these special tainted mushrooms that a weird guy in a cape's been selling. No one knows where he came from, what these mushrooms are. They need to investigate this.
The people of the
The
Mushroom
toads are-
Kingdom are the dumbest motherfuckers that
Yeah, I
we've
was just
ever...
going to say, they're idiots.
Listen, I'm going to be legit with you right now. Mushroom Kingdom residents are MAGA hats, okay? Like, I don't care if this is good for me or not. I want it in my tummy.
I think they're just like really stupid and naive.
Well, I mean, they're mushrooms, so let's cut them a little bit of slack.
It's true.
You can't expect that much from produce. That's why, like, the one human is their leader.
You
And
sound
the
like a
other
real
humans-
Naruto right now. Like, you're real only people have human rights.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, Teddy.
Hey, who's cowboy in this? Where are we? What happened while I was
Where
gone?
we are right to the point where Bowser throws a fit
Yeah.
and tries to murder Princess Peach.
Yeah, he's like, fine, I'll just take Peach with me. Like always. And then Mario leaps into action. Luigi is still asleep.
Yeah.
And Mario
then
battles and defeats Bowser. And Luigi stays asleep.
And then the princess, using magic that I'd never seen her use, like, picks up Bowser with, like, a magic spell and
Like
throws him out of the castle.
Yeah.
I
She's just like,
want to
zoop.
know more about Princess Peach's abilities here, because
Me
she
too.
seems able to destroy him.
There's a game called Super Princess Peach. You can purchase it on your 3DS.
Oh, that's the one where each one of her powers is related to a mood swing she has?
Is it? Oh, no.
Yep.
Don't tell me that.
Work.
But yeah, she seems to be able to, like, telekinetically whip Bowser, who is enormous, around a room. So I want to know more about this.
Yeah, she throws him into the woods.
Yep.
I mean, the implication here is that she allows herself to be kidnapped by Bowser because she wants Mario to rescue her.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get a man's attention.
I guess, but she keeps doing it. Like, it's not. He
What
seems
if
enamored with her.
She's
She's just going to have to
Bowser.
accept that she's going to have to be the one to pop the question, you know? That's what it's going to come down
She
to.
likes Bowser, but knows that Toad Society would never accept those two being together.
So she has to be
where-
quote unquote
who-
kidnapped.
Who is Bowser Jr.'s mother?
Peach?
It's Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Canonically.
Canonically.
What?
Canonically.
I thought
Yeah.
he told her that she was his mom, and she was like, I don't think so.
You can't just
You
say
calling him a
something's
liar?
canon and then it's canon.
Speaking of people saying dumb shit, have we talked about how Mario and Luigi sound when they have conversations in this game? And what a
Yes.
delight it is? So fun.
So Bowser wakes up and he's in the woods. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what... Is he looking for his castle? Is that why he decides to walk around?
Yeah. Well, first he's like upset. He's like, why is Mario so much stronger than me? This sucks. I'm going to walk around. He punches some rocks and he burns up some trees with fire. And it's sort of a tutorial. He has like a little bud there, and his little bud is like, oh, your magnificence. Why don't you punch that rock by pressing the X button? And he's like, heck yeah, I'm going to punch it. And then you hear a voice from off screen shout, a winner is you,
Yeah.
which I love.
That
And,
is Fawful, who talks
yeah.
in, like, old video game translation talk.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's wonderful.
Is that the gimmick?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't understand what was going on with Fawful and the way he talked.
He's, like, deliberate bad Zelda 2 translation.
I have chortles. That's like this thing that he
Yes.
says.
Yeah.
Well, I like that it doesn't go for any particular... It's not like making fun of Japanese translation in particular. It's just kind of bad translation in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no like all your base are belong to us.
Yeah, no L and R swapping or
Yeah.
anything like that.
I thought a winner is you was from something. Maybe it's from
yeah.
this.
It is. It's from like a racing game. Or it's from that like trucking simulator game.
Hold on, let
yeah.
me find out. A winner is you.
You.
Oh, it's from pro wrestling.
Is it?
What?
Pro wrestling.
That's pro wrestling.
Oh, it is. It's from the old wrestling game.
Oh. So it's great. Bowser's like, wow, I didn't even participate and I won. That's awesome. What do I win? And he's like, you win this weird mushroom. And Bowser's like, huh, never heard anything about a weird mushroom. Guess I'll just eat it right up. Yum, yum, yum.
John, the game that I was thinking of, it's Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, and it's famous because the winning message is "Your winner."
That's right.
That's
Over the
great.
Road Big Rig Racing is an amazing game. And if you've never seen footage of it, you have to Google it.
The like semi trucks climbing mountains. Mountains.
There's no
It's
collision
hilarious.
physics whatsoever. And I think if you reverse, you can go like there's no max speed. You just keep going faster and faster.
That game's So crazy.
Wow, the box art's pretty amazing. Like, it's not just flames on the side of this truck. Flames are coming out of this truck.
And isn't it like blasting a cop car or something?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. So where were we? Okay, so Bowser.
So this guy tells him, "Hey, this mushroom will make you super lucky," and he's like, "Lucky enough to beat Mario?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess, sure."
I like how the helper guy pops up again, and he's like, "Hey, don't eat that." He's like, "Don't put that in your mouth. You got that from a stranger."
That's one of those magician.
Like,
I forget what they're called. The magician.
Those like little magician guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what they? Let me see. Mario magician.
He's a Magic Koopa.
He's a Magic Koopa. That's right.
The Magic Koopa does try to warn Bowser, but Bowser is just like, "Nope, I'm eating it."
Yeah, and he eats the mushroom, and then he opens his mouth and he sucks in like a bunch of trees and pipes and stuff.
Here's a thing. So at first I was surprised by the blorbs, but then I thought, oh, I guess this makes sense because in order for all the characters to be inside Bowser either needs to get very large or they need to get very small. So I guess he's going to like blorb up and become giant. He doesn't. He's the same size. He just sucks everything into his mouth anyway.
I do believe it does shrink whatever goes inside him.
You can't just say that.
I mean, it implies that.
I mean, I guess because that's the only way it would work, like, with physics, but we don't actually see that happening, you know?
What if, like, it was a life-size Mario that got sucked in, and you had to, like, you know, instead of, like, bouncing on Bowser's leg muscles, you just had to, like, massage him from the inside?
Yeah. A lot of listeners are just fucking rock hard and sopping wet right now. Tell me more about puppeting Bowser around from his tummy.
They were talking about, there's a movie on Kill by Kill recently where they're talking about how they sewed the child inside the mother's body.
I don't want to, John. I don't like this.
And he broke out.
Ugh.
Oh, Lord.
Are you talking about Hannibal?
No, it's something like...
There's that great line, is your therapist in that horse?
Oh, Dr. Giggles.
What?
Oh, I've heard of that movie. I've never seen it.
I know what that movie is, but I have never watched it. Even as like a kid, as a kid, I was like, too scary. And as an adult, I'm still like,
too
probably
scary.
not worth watching.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I never finished my Friday the 13th because I got held up on Nightmare on Elm Street because frankly those movies aren't very good. The further I got into the series, the more I was like, this sucks.
Just skip ahead to the Jared Padalecki.
I couldn't find. That's the other problem. I couldn't find New Nightmare on anything.
That's not
What, really?
the Jared Padalecki's first of all Friday the 13th remake. It's not Nightmare on Elm Street. But he could skip ahead to like Roseanne
Jared
Barr.
Padalecki.
And Iggy Pop. Was it Iggy Pop? What? Or was it Alice Cooper? It was Alice Cooper playing Freddy's dad in Nightmare on Elm Street 6.
Oh, Alice Cooper, played Freddy's dad.
Yeah.
Can I have another one, sir?
All right, so let's move on.
What are we even talking about?
Cut back to Peach's castle. Bowser shows back up. He's just on a bender, an inhalation bender, and everyone gets sucked inside him, even poor sleeping Luigi.
Oh no! Yeah, he's
my sleepy
tripping
boy
really hard, and then just inhales everybody.
Mm-hmm. He inhales that star. He inhales Mario. He inhales Sleepy Luigi. He also inhales just some things that are around.
Yeah, he inhales all the Toadstool guys that were in there.
Mm-hmm. Statues and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I guess he just passes out, right?
Yeah,
I do like the sound effect that Jim captured here, the onomatopoeia of wharf is the sound of him inhaling everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bowser just collapses, which I guess was the plan all along, was for Bowser to just inhale all this stuff and then forget about it.
Yeah. But then you wake up as Mario.
Inside of Bowser's tummy.
I guess it's the tummy.
Yeah, you start out in the tummy tum. In the nice, warm, safe tummy.
No, none of that.
Where
We're not going to have
nothing can hurt
any.
you.
No.
So safe and cozy.
No.
You don't like how safe and cozy and warm it is living inside Bowser's tum? So what are globins?
I don't know.
Hemoglobins.
Like hemoglobins, right?
But what's
Those
a
are red blood
hemoglobin?
cells?
I don't know my biology very well.
So you find these like weird yellow blocks, and if you knock them, they talk to you, and they have a weird. They keep saying globin.
They use globin as like a random noun. They'll substitute with the word globin. Also adjectives.
They're like, what's up, Globin?
Yeah.
I'm a hemoglobin, Globin. I'm
do
a
you-
save point, Globin.
Imagine they talk, because this is how their dialogue is written. Anyway, O traveler, about what are you curious? The nature of globin? The meaning of globin? Do you think they're like educated?
I like to think that they're like yelling, where they're like, "Anyway, old traveler."
Oh, like Brian Blessed is voicing the globin?
Yeah.
Anyway, O traveler! They got
Look
stick.
at the Brian Blessed globin.
Yeah, exactly.
Globin. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting in there. You see like floating things. I guess red blood cells. Little blobs of virus, it almost looks like.
Yeah, it does look like coronaviruses back
It
there.
does look like the coronavirus, except green. But it's like, since we all see that graphic all the time of like the coronavirus, that's
Yep.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
So Mario's just straight up in there.
Hey guys, voronavirus.
Get out of here.
So the first thing you stumble into is... So who is Starlo?
Starlo's a little
was
star
the
sprite.
bro who like came to help the Mushroom Kingdom.
Has he been in
Starlo's
the
a
others?
star sprite.
Oh, Starlo's the Star Sprite. That's
Yeah, yeah.
right. Right, okay.
And he was like, we don't know anything. But this Star Sprite seems like super educated about what's going on now. He's like, hey, what's up? You're inside Bowser. You gotta walk around and find your friends, I guess, is kind of the initial... There doesn't seem to be enough of a reaction, I gotta say.
Well, Starlo's just like, well, it looks like we're in Bowser's body.
Yeah, that's
And
not
it's just like, okay.
sufficient. That's not a sufficient reaction to being swallowed alive.
I don't know. Maybe it happens more often than you think in the Mushroom Kingdom. They are vegetables.
That's true. But Mario's not a vegetable.
You think the Toad villagers are just eating each other all the time?
Yeah.
Or being eaten?
They've established that they eat mushrooms.
I think that the Mushroom Kingdom is just like a patch of forest in Japan, and somehow, with tiny people living in it, and somehow two Italian plumbers got sucked through a toilet and landed up there one day. It's like a Smurf village, but it's in Japan, obviously, in like one of those forests or something. They have some big forests and stuff, I think. And, yeah. So occasionally humans come along and just eat the Mushroom Kingdom. And that's just, you just don't see it in the games.
So I'd like to make a correction here.
Uh-oh.
Stars are the species, and there are various characters that are made of stars, including Geno, Dark Star.
What?
Gino's a doll who's like possessed by a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Carl Sagan, calm the fuck down about how we're all made of stars.
The Star Spirits from Paper Mario. Luma from Super Mario Galaxy. Twink from Paper Mario.
Oh, the twink.
Twink?
Yeah. There's a lot of different star people, and Starlo is a new character for this game. And I thought they were from Superstar Saga. I
And
was wrong.
Rosalina is their queen, is that right?
I think she must have something to do with them, right? Because she's all star related.
She's a princess, actually, I think.
Princess of the Stars?
I think princess in this universe is the highest rank you can achieve.
I don't know, because Peach has a father and he's the king in some
Bowser's
games.
the king. He's king of Koopa.
Yeah, are you saying
Kingdom.
that Bowser is higher ranking than Peach?
No,
I
he's just a different
disagree.
kingdom.
Yeah. Some kingdoms, princess is the highest rank. It's just like in She-Ra. Who has all the power? The princesses.
Oh, really?
That's an excellent point, actually.
That
She's
is
right.
an excellent point. Thank you.
She's right. Peach is in charge because she's a princess. It's our misunderstanding. It's our limitations.
Yeah. You're
Our
imposing
inherent misogyny.
your Western bias on this kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I have more questions. Since Starlo is a new character, why didn't they introduce her?
Well, they did. They're like, "Hey, Starlo's here. Starlo, do you know anything
pretty
about
much
this
it, yeah.
situation?"
All right, then.
Hi, I'm Starlo. I'm here to help.
I guess you just have to accept that Starlo is going to be a part of this adventure and not question any more about Starlo.
Starlo's like Poochie.
Yeah. When Starlo isn't on screen, everyone should be asking, "Where's Starlo?" But good news, Starlo is always on screen.
So the battle system does remind me a bit of Super Mario RPG, right?
Yeah, with the timing of the button presses.
Yeah, both in attack and in defense.
I absolutely love the dodging system where you can basically avoid almost all damage, if not all damage from most enemies by like pressing the defensive button at the right time.
Yeah, some are easier than others. Sometimes you just have to like jump something, but sometimes you have to like wind your hammer up and let it go at the right time.
You
Right.
always have to do that with your hammer. Like it's never a tap, it's always a hold and then release.
Yeah, but you can also jump out of the way, and later on Bowser gets his own versions of it where he uses his shell.
Yeah, Bowser can like duck and like stuff will bounce off his shell, or he can punch someone who's approaching him.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do both attack and defense. There are if you time them right, you can do more damage or take less damage, and it is pretty fun. It does get to be like a bit much.
It seems like the timing's pretty generous. Like, I have terrible reflexes. I'm usually pretty good. There's a couple of ones. Anything that involves hitting with a hammer, I'm pretty bad at in defense.
Yeah, I can't do the hammer defense. Not hardly never.
Yeah, that one's tricky.
And like you get a magic. I mean, it's a spell basically, but it's an attack. It's green turtle shell that Mario and Luigi will kick back and forth, kick into the enemy, and then back and forth to each other for extra damage. It's fun.
Yeah, and if you miss, then whoever misses gets carried away on the shell, and
Happens to
the
me
other
all
one
the
waves a little handkerchief at them. Say goodbye. It's like Mario is being carried away, and Luigi's just like, goodbye, goodbye.
Now, I do find so this game's kind of divided into two parts. One is Mario and Luigi inside Bowser exploring him, and the other part is Bowser in the
Don't
world.
say inside Bowser exploring him. What a way to put it.
Okay, how would you say it?
Navigating the internal.
That's
Systems.
worse.
Like
Traversing.
At least put them in a spaceship so we
Traversing.
can get an inner space situation.
Yeah, but they're not. They're just like, their dirty little plumber boots are tromping all over
Yeah.
his guts.
That's what I thought
Frankly-
this game was going to be, honestly, was like Mario and Luigi would shrink themselves to go inside a Bowser to do like a hero thing. I didn't know that it was going to be like they were going to get sucked up.
You do explore Bowser's squishy body. I really like the internals. I think the internal parts is real fun. The playing as Bowser, we'll get to in a second, is not quite as good. I find it's a little clunkier and slower. But the platforming's a lot of fun. And
Yeah, it's like a side-scrolly inside Bowser.
yeah.
And when you play as Bowser, it's a top-down, more classic RPG kind of thing.
Yeah, and when you're playing as Mario and Luigi, you kind of have to operate them both independently. I mean, not in like when you move them, but when you jump or use the hammer. There's a hammer mechanic that we'll get to later. But the B button is to make Luigi do stuff, and the A button is to make Mario do stuff.
That's the weirdest system I've ever seen.
I love that.
It's a little. I don't need it. Is kind of the problem.
But you can use the Y button and make them both do the same thing at the same time, which is way, 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 way easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Occasionally, you might have to do individual stuff. Like there's some to get some unlock extra attacks. You can do things where it's only Mario needs to hit the block, and then Luigi, and there's like combos to unlock it. So you start getting to eventually you hit a nerve. Literally. And you don't know what to do, but then there's a hammer. Was it someone finds a hammer? Is that what happens?
Yeah,
oh no, you unlock the hammer by finding little puzzle pieces.
Oh, is that it? Or is the hammer in one of the crates?
The hammer's in a crate.
Is like,
oh, that's it. Yeah, there's two hammers.
Bowser swallowed a crate. Let's open it up.
Yeah.
Have we already reunited with Luigi at this point?
Yeah, pretty much right away when
he's getting like harassed by amoebas too, right?
Yeah, he's like
his head is he's hanging from an amoeba that's like stuck to his head.
Yeah. And you pull him down and Luigi bursts into tears.
And poor buddy.
Throws his arms around Mario, and Mario like gives him a comforting pat. He's like, Mario. Luigi.
So eventually you two are exploring, you find this nerve with these hammers, and you can, I think this is also where you get the mechanic of Luigi hitting Mario with a hammer shrinks Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up in the puzzling, which is kind of a great little wordless scene where they discuss their plan, and Luigi sort of mimes how he's going to hit Mario with a hammer, and Mario like claps in delight. He's like, yeah, that's a great plan.
It's consensual.
It is consensual. But yeah, you bonk the nerve with your hammer, and Bowser wakes up, and he is in a cave and does not remember anything.
But he does hear what's her name? Starful? No. Mm-hmm. Starlo talking to Mario and Luigi, and Bowser's like, who's that?
Yeah, it's just like when Ant-Man went in Iron Man's suit, and Iron Man's like, who's talking?
And Starlo's like, my name's Chippy.
And Bowser's like, Chippy's a stupid name.
Yeah.
But he still takes advice from her, which is great.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, you're in me? That's cool. And then occasionally Chippy slips up and is like, yeah, we're going to go. And he's like, we? Who else is in there? But Mario and Luigi wisely do not identify themselves as inhabitants of his body.
Yeah. So he wakes up in a cave, realizes he can no longer breathe fire, which sucks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because that's kind of his main deal. Like, his fists are kind of like a backup. And playing as Bowser reminds me a lot of, what's the name of Garfo Gromp from Breath of Fire 3?
Garfo Gromp?
Remember Gort? Grat?
No.
Gort.
No idea.
What are you talking about?
The big dragon guy in Breath of Fire.
The one
What's that guy's name?
Gipple.
Yeah.
No, Gipple's from Final Fantasy X too.
No, the one who's like the gargoyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, it just reminds me of him a lot.
Wasn't it Gar? It was Gar.
Gar, yeah.
Gar,
it was Gar.
that's it.
Yeah.
How's Jim the one that remembered that? He didn't fucking play that game.
He listened to every episode.
Mm-hmm. Jim re-listens to our old series frequently.
I do. I'm creating a wiki for us.
Nice. Finally.
And I'm just gonna input myself into every episode's wiki like I was there.
Yeah. You should re-edit the show so we're all talking about you. Just like insert us saying, Jim, where's Jim? Jim, where's Jim?
Hey guys, you know who I wish was here? Jim.
Mm-hmm. Man, Jim would have loved that joke.
So Fawful shows up, and they start Bowser and Fawful get into a bit of an argument. and Bowser asks what Fawful's beef is, to which, how does Fawful reply there, Vanessa?
Fawful says, "Fawful have no beef. Fawful is beefless."
I like Fawful. And then he does talk about how they're going to go take Bowser's castle. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, that's next on the list. And then Fawful's like, here, take my second in command. And he brings in Midbus, who's like the eviler version of Bowser, I guess, except he's a pig.
I thought it was a lady.
Oh, maybe.
Because it's pink?
Yeah, because it's pink and I'm sexist.
But most of the art I've seen has definitely depicted Midbus as male.
Okay.
With Bowser.
I have to go. I'll be back in a minute or two.
So then you get your first fight, which is mostly an intro to Bowser's punching and dodge mechanics as the two monsters just wail on each other. But Bowser's he doesn't have it. He's not winning this fight.
He doesn't have his fire.
Yeah. And Midbus is just real easily steamrolling poor old Bowser. Now, do you think Midbus, is that a joke on Mid-Boss? What do you think,
I don't
Jim?
know. That's a good question, John. I bet it is.
Vanessa, what do you Oh, no, Vanessa's gone because I scared her off by talking about Midbus erotic art. So Bowser's like, hey, I'm going to go kick these yokels out of my castle. So that is your first goal. It's only stated once as to what you're doing and why you're going there, but that's where you're going. And so you get a couple of like jumpy puzzles to get out of the cave you're in. And the first thing you do is a voice, a weird voice, like a narrator is talking to Bowser and it's like, break this rock. And you'll find a surprise inside, and you do. And it's something called the Chak Road, which is like a pun on chakra, and it lets you fast travel between locations on the overworld.
Fun.
Yeah, but it sort of talks to Bowser like a great beast approaches. We are one, the beast and I. Bowser gets very upset. He does not like that kind of New Age talk.
I was a little confused. There's a lot of it seems like there's a lot of spaces in these levels that I'm not exploring. Is there anything worthwhile there, do you think? John, you're OCD about exploring stuff.
Not, well, there's stuff that Bowser with his current range of abilities cannot get to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. I'm kind of I've been playing it. I'm kind of blowing through the levels a bit because it feels like I'm leaving a lot unexplored, but I'm also kind of finding the exits and just kind of going, all right, see ya. What am I picking up, items or something? There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's not. If you go off the beaten path, you're not going to find a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. The star sort of talks about how you should level up your skills at one point, but as long as you're not running from enemies, I haven't had any problems with my level.
Same.
Yeah, and usually there's not more than maybe 3 enemy encounters per screen.
And do they respawn?
No, I think it takes a while.
Okay.
You can backtrack through an area if you're playing, which you have to do quite a bit in Bowser's Body. And if you've beaten enemies, they usually won't be back.
Oh, they do come back a while later. Yeah, that's right. Because that did happen to me, that they do show up. So we fought Midbus, and now big pink pig with a lizard back. Yeah, scaly back.
I put a picture of him in the group chat.
Is it an erotic picture? Oh,
Jim,
no.
I'm asking John to describe it to our listeners. Not because I need the information.
So the art that Jim has decided to post in there says Happy Bowser Day, and Bowser's sitting on the ground. His tummy's very full. He's got his hands to his sides. He is grinning happily, and there's a little picture-in-picture of his tummy with pink walls, and Midbus is in there looking kind of sad.
Is he crying?
Yeah,
he's smiling but also crying.
Oh
No,
No,
he's
that's a tear.
no, that's not a tear. That's Like the head sweat. The
Oh,
anime.
yeah, that's like the horny sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. He's got the horny sweats.
Or like the embarrassed sweat, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a little embarrassed to be a Bowser Stub Tub.
Yeah, he's nervous.
I'm nervous.
So you get through
My first time being in your tummy, Bowser.
Okay.
Digest me gently.
No, digestion is hard vore, and this game's all about gentle soft vore.
Hardvore is not a word I ever thought I would hear.
No, that's... Isn't that werewolf book real vory? Never mind.
Oh yeah, the lady one. Is it Karen Travers that has those werewolf books?
That's not what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Are you thinking of Twilight?
Definitely not thinking of Twilight. I'm thinking of like
eventually-
the last werewolf or something. It's like really describes people being eaten.
Bowser gets to Plaque Beach, which I get it.
I didn't. Yeah, John just realized it too. It's not a very obvious pun.
There's a lot of
There's teeth everywhere.
Yeah, there are teeth
Well, I didn't
everywhere.
notice that at first. I just thought they were like just like rocks.
So is the whole world inside someone's body?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And the first, you do run into a blockhead man named Broque Monsieur, who is also stuck on this island. And Broque Monsieur is wonderful. I think he's my favorite character in this game so far.
I think you need to elaborate on Blockhead Man a little bit, because what he is he's like one of those yellow blocks from Mario.
The question mark
Yeah.
blocks.
He's a living, breathing person.
Right. He does have big eyebrows and a little mustache.
He is French,
He is French, which
Or-
is great.
potentially Quebecois.
Yeah, well, a croque monsieur, I always think of as a Quebecois food. It's like a sandwich. So he's stuck on this island and asks for Bowser's. Oh, he's stuck on this island and asks for Bowser's help, like dragging the island to the shore. And Bowser is not going to do it, but then he does trick Bowser into doing it by telling him that Bowser's obviously not going to do it because he isn't strong enough. Mm-hmm. But he
Is Broque Monsieur a new character to the series?
Let me,
For sure.
let me look.
For sure. He's introduced.
He's not introduced as like, oh, here comes your favorite friend.
Yeah. You're like, who's this weird guy?
Finally, Broque Monsieur is here.
My favorite Mario character.
Okay, yeah, this is the introduction of Broque Monsieur. He's a
And
Brock.
the only appearance besides Bowser Jr.'s journey.
No, he's also in Mario and
What?
Luigi's Dream Team.
Oh, it does say that here. That's weird.
I hesitate to ask, but what is Bowser Jr.'s journey? Does he also go in Bowser's tummy?
No, it's like an RTS of what Bowser Jr. and the Koopa Kids do when Bowser is busy.
Oh, that sounds
doing this
fucking
adventure.
horrible. We're not playing that.
Whoa, Broque Monsieur is in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate?
Oh,
Fucking everybody's in Super Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
dude. They're like, they have these like characters that'll appear in the background. There's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, he's like a spirit character, it
Yeah.
says.
yeah, there's tons and tons of those. So my favorite part is that after you get him, he does help you do a tutorial. And the animation is he twirls his head upside down and his
Yeah.
thick mustache becomes his angry eyebrows.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And his eyes flash red, showing he's evil. And that's one of my favorite pieces of animation in this game. It's
But
fantastic.
we got to talk about how Bowser gets the strength to
Yes.
move this island.
because
Oh, right.
it is a core mechanic of this game.
Yeah. So he's
disturbing.
like trying to pull it, but he's not strong enough. And then you notice in that kind of diagram of Bowser's body that you use to move Mario and Luigi around that there's something going on in his like arm center. Mm-hmm. So you go to investigate, and I guess you can like Bowser has cannons in his body that point at his muscles that shoot like muscle stimulants.
It's your guns, Jim.
His guns.
I mean, have we discussed the fact that Bowser just straight up has like fucking worms in his body? He's
Who doesn't?
riddled with these, like, angry, chompy parasites. It's fucking foul.
Well, he's a lizard.
They do, like, explain away one enemy type later where they're like, oh, those are, like, his white blood cells that attack anything foreign in his body. But that's, like, the only one that I see that they've explained.
Well,
all this other stuff is just unexplained.
Someone does say, like, the
Squids.
white worms are something that he swallowed because they know him from the outside. I think one of the toads says that.
No, like,
that's
in the
the-
next episode, he gets the worm in his body after he eats a carrot.
I'm so upset.
No,
Also, I think what you're talking about is the, like, roachy thingy that we fight at the end of this.
No,
That's not
no,
the
the thing
same.
I'm talking about is the ones that
like
you
a bunch
have
of
to.
trees and tubes and stuff.
It's the ones that you have to, like, use to break stuff. You know, the ones where you, like, feed them a ball and they smash things.
That's what I'm talking about as well.
Okay.
But I'm saying I think that when they talk about how it got sucked into his body, they're talking about the roachy thingies, not...
Can you find a more gentle way to say sucked into his body? Like
No.
maybe de-emphasize the S.
suck in.
No.
Slurped in.
Slurp those worms into the body.
Have we mentioned how on the DS, at least, this is a 2-screen game with Bowser on top and what's going on inside Bowser on the
I
bottom?
mean, it's always a DS game. It's a DS and a 3DS game.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it's fun how the top is... Now, have we mentioned that the controls are also top and bottom? So the Y and X button are Bowser, and the A and B button are Mario and Luigi. And don't you dare accidentally press an X or a Y, because suddenly you'll be playing as Bowser. Because this
Especially
game,
during-
literally, you
irritating.
switch back and forth on the fly between the two by accidentally hitting the Y button every 10 fucking seconds.
So do you know why Broque Monsieur calls him Turtle Bits?
Yeah, he calls him Monsieur Turtlebits.
He's a
I
turtle.
don't know. I guess.
What's-
He does have
what's-
turtle bits.
What's confusing about this? He's a turtle.
So after the minigame, he drags.
It's like
he
how I call
drags-
you human face.
The minigame's pretty fun, where you fire these electrons at the neuron to fire them. I really like that minigame. And then you get into... Broque Monsieur wants you to learn how to do the fight, so he gives you a training session. That's where he turns evil. To use the inhale command. And the inhale command's neat, because basically you're in a fight with Bowser, and then he can use the inhale block to inhale the enemy, and then Mario and Luigi can do damage to that enemy.
Just hang back for one mo. So in this game, in which Bowser eats a magical mushroom and sucks Mario and Luigi to live in his tummy, we need a secondary device for Bowser to continue to suck things in the form of this vacuum block. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You're already doing it. You
no,
don't
like
need to give me
the effect
another
of
reason.
the mushroom wore off, Matt.
He already does it. He already sucks things in, and then they're like, "Oh yeah." Also, you
He
can do it
needs
this
more
way.
sucking power. This
Sorry,
would be
I'm sorry.
a cool
Vanessa didn't like
mechanic.
suck. More slurping power.
No, that is worse. Thank you very much. This would be a cool mechanic if it was like a astral plane thing, where you could like shift the enemies to a different plane and have your spirit party members fight them. But instead, it's just very disturbing. And how is whatever he's sucking just immediately going to where Mario and Luigi are? Because they're in his bicep at this point.
That's a good point. Why do
Yeah,
they
it's
end up in
fine.
his bicep?
It's fine.
Like, you'd think that everything would just go to the tummy. But we don't go there till later, and it's a terrible minigame.
You can move around Bowser's body at will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And did we mention that the toads that he has sucked up have opened shops
course
in
they've
his
opened
body?
Yeah, that's, that I was going to mention that, like, they're not even just idiots. They're like little, like, commerce robots, and then, like they have to be selling stuff.
Fucking bootlicking robots.
They're little bootlickers, man.
Fucking bootlickers.
Look, they're just trying to make ends meet. They adapt to new situations.
They're also selling like juice made out of Bowser.
Yeah, they're selling Globin juice.
Yeah. They're like, we found his plasma and bottled it, and we want you to drink it.
Yep.
To be fair, throughout the game, you eat mushrooms and drink syrup you find in Bowser's body.
You sure do.
Yeah, but you find them as part of things that have been sucked into Bowser's body.
Right, I didn't think that was like his syrup.
No, like have you guys gotten healed by a Globin and they just like squirt all over you?
No.
Jim!
So
Okay. Moratorium on any S words.
So squirt, suck, and
I don't want to hear
slurp are all
slurp. I
out.
don't want to hear squirt. Yeah.
okay, so Bowser finds the sea squid statue, and it's actually a blooper. If you know what a blooper is,
It's a blooper.
and Broque Monsieur is like, it's a statue honoring a hero of the sea, and Bowser's like, this statue's stupid.
Well, at first Bowser's like, it must be a statue of me.
Yeah, of course.
It is not. It's a blooper. And he gets mad when he realizes this is not a statue of him, starts punching it, which triggers the trap that Fawful set for him. Some palm trees appear to block his way, and this turns into a boss fight. The Squid Boy.
So I thought it was, why do you fight the squid?
Because it's like a trap that Fawful left.
Oh, I thought it was just a statue that you defiled. They got angry at you.
I guess Fawful like rigged the statue to fight you as well. And so you do have a fight against the Squid Boy, and this is a fun one where you inhale the Squid Boy and Mario and Luigi do damage to it. I like this fight a lot.
We should point out at this point, or we should point out at some point, that what's his name? Starlo? Starlo has been talking to Bowser, but is not revealing that Mario and Luigi are in his tummy. Even though when Broque Monsieur taught Bowser the vacuum block, you did vacuum him into your tummy, and he did say hello to Mario and Luigi before he climbed his way out. So Mario and Luigi are stuck. Broque Monsieur gets sucked in, just climbs right back out.
Wouldn't it be beneficial to have Bowser know that they're in there so he can get them out?
No, he hates them, so he would, like, do something awful.
Like what? Like kill
Drink
himself
lava
to ensure that
try
they
to poison
die?
them. He would do something. He's Bowser.
Maybe he would.
All right, so you beat this boss, and then after breaking the statue, it starts squirting out. Oh, does Vanessa? Okay, sorry. It starts leaking out.
He starts expelling water.
Flowing out, pouring.
You know, the statue is not doing anything.
It
Water
gets
comes out of the statue.
Yeah, it does.
It gets sopping wet.
I did send Vanessa a picture of Bowser with his face just pressed into that, saying Bowser's thirsty.
He did.
So the thing is, Bowser is thirsty, so he like he presses his face against the outflow of the pipe and guzzles. Is that a okay word?
Not really.
He just guzzles that water down.
He does, though, and this is our third bizarre kink. Like, he is drinking way too much water.
Yep. And it starts filling up parts of his insides with water.
Yeah. So then your nice platforming level becomes a swimming level.
But it's not his tummy.
No, it's just like some part of him.
Yeah. So meanwhile, you're trying to like figure out how to reinstate his fire command. And you realize you got to get some electric producing cell. So you're going through his body, and there's a lot of random battles, and whatever reason, my habit is to hit X after a random battle, which immediately stops Bowser drinking water and has like a 5 second.
I can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little frustrating.
Every 10 fucking seconds with this bullshit.
Yeah, you can like make him start and stop drinking water in order to flood or drain certain parts of his body.
Mm-hmm.
There are some bloopers swimming around in his body. And if you drain before you fight them, you fight the dried out bloopers instead, which I thought was kind of fun.
Are they easier if they're dried out?
I would assume that they would be, but I didn't actually notice much of a difference.
Okay. So you do have to swim and avoid these things, and then you have to. So the big mechanic here is that you got to push these like big roly-poly cell blobs into the mouths of these worms that are living inside Bowser in order
those things are gross.
Yeah. And those
are gross.
Those things break down some cell walls so that or some tissue so that you can continue and get this thing out. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a water level. It had some fun puzzles.
And there's some like little tunnels that you have to squish Mario in order to get him into. But again, Mario does not mind Luigi smashing him over the head with a hammer. He likes it.
He loves it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Luigi, smash me.
So, Vanessa.
Yeah. What?
You eventually bring that electric cell over to open the door to Bowser's flame pipe, which does look like a sphincter that you do open. But to defeat...
John also sent me a picture of that, and he goes, "Is this a sphincter?" I'm like,
yeah.
Why? Why me?
So his flame pipe has been blocked by this bug boy, this flat bug that is
It's like a worm. It's like a flatworm. It's gross.
It is gross.
And you do have to fight the flatworm. I thought the animation on this flatworm was beautiful. It was very fun to fight.
I did like when it jumped into the air and sort of floated like a leaf at you.
When it would like swoop down, like I thought it's really clever how they keep you from anticipating the timing of a lot of these enemy attacks. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Mm-hmm. So then you have a bug battle. It's not none of these boss fights have been super hard. Apparently the game does get harder as it goes on, but it's still pretty simple. I was enjoying that. Then you get a little bit more beach puzzles, pushing and burning stuff. And eventually you run into Broque Monsieur again, and he is missing what he calls his petite pet bloc, his little doggy. He is lost to moi. And
it's so weird.
You find his little dog, but it's a giant block dog named Brock. Broggie, right? Broggie?
Yeah, it's like a pit bull, but it's a block.
It's got like pound puppy ears, and I love it. But it does fight you, and you do have
puppy
to.
Ears. It does have pound puppy ears.
You do have to. What? Like? Oh yeah, you have to like suck. Okay. You have to pull air in order to turn the dog around, so that you can then hammer it from the.
I don't think that's true. I think that you flame it.
Oh, that's right, because you got your flame pipes back.
Yeah, you got your flame back. So you roast to the dog turns around, and then you punch it in the back of a head.
This was tough for me because I had a hard time figuring out how to use the flame control for some reason until I went into the guide. Because you have to do an excellent to get him to turn around.
Yeah. So basically it is a hold down X as soon as the first button prompt appears, and hold it down until the end of the attack.
Yeah, the flame is literally the easiest thing to get an excellent on, because you just have to hold the button down.
Do you not have to wait until he lights up?
He will wind up, and then you'll see the flame in his mouth, and then you just hold the button down.
Yeah. So there is a timing point to the first part.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying everything. I was pushing I was trying to mash the button.
Yeah, I was matching it, and I didn't understand either.
That's it. You fight the dog, and that's the end of Plaque Beach.
So what are we doing for our next chunk?
What are we doing at all here?
You're going to Bowser's Castle.
The game, it takes about a third of the game, but it does get a plot.
I mean, sort of.
I mean, the plot right now is
eventually
get Mario out of Tummy and also get to Castle, I guess.
Yeah. Stop the takeover of the Mushroom Kingdom.
All right.
And we also need to find Peach, who is still in Bowser's body somewhere.
Oh, right. Yeah, good call.
I bet I know where she is.
Oh.
So
wouldn't that be cool if at the end of the game Bowser ejaculated out
Oh no!
all of like
No, that wouldn't
Mario,
be cool.
Luigi, the princess,
No, that wouldn't be cool at all.
all the pipes and trees.
You're
Anyways,
so
John,
stinky.
continue.
So I would say next time we're going to try to retake Koopa Castle.
I assume it's our first and last attempt because it will be successful.
Yeah, if there's one thing Bowser's known for, it's winning fights.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's talk about what we are squarely against. Vanessa, why don't you kick us off?
Where to start? You know what? I'm not squarely against anything happening in the game per se, but I'm pretty squarely against hearing you guys talk about it.
Why is that?
I don't know. It must just because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather and I'm clearly delirious. I don't know what I'm talking about.
We're just having fun.
Of course. That's what we do. We talk about chunkers, one chunker at a time.
Yeah. And lots of S words.
Matt, what are you squarely against?
Hey, I'm actually going to be roundly for the combat in this game. We already talked about it, so I don't want to repeat myself, but it's fun. It's engaging. It kind of keeps you going. Whereas the game doesn't have a lot else going on. I mean, I don't prefer it to something like Persona, where there's a lot of strategy and figuring things out involved, but certainly it's better than your standard, like, I don't know, let's say Breath of Fire 3 JRPG combat, where you just kind of do the same fucking thing over and over again. So, roundly for Jim.
I'm roundly for the timing mechanic of the combat. It makes like every battle fun in a different way when you have to figure out how you're going to dodge the attack.
Okay, do you want to get your own roundly for now, though, or are you just going to repeat mine?
I'm just going to repeat yours. We can like the same thing, Matt. Yeah, that's what I'm roundly for. It's super cool and fun, and it only gets better when enemies become a little more complicated. Like when they start like timing things differently, it gets super fun. What about you, John?
I am roundly for Broque Monsieur and Broggie, the two best Nintendo characters I've ever seen. Although the dodo or the big bird
what are you talking about?
The dodo from Super Mario RPG is amazing too.
What's the guy's
amazing.
name that you were fucking obsessed with in Super Mario RPG?
Oh, Croco.
No,
Booster.
That was me.
It was Dodo.
Booster. It was Booster. Croco's what I was obsessed with.
I like Dodo better than Booster.
I love Dodo.
He's so amazing. But yeah,
his little pecking game when he's mad.
Yeah, when you have to jump over his beak.
Yep. I just love that game. And I love the Broque Monsieur and the Broques in general. They're a lot of fun. I like the French jokes, and I love angry Blockface. And I guess that's it for this.
Mm-hmm.
Patreon?
Do I have to do it?
Sure. Matt can do it if you want.
We have a little thing called a Patreon, and the way Patreon works, if you don't know, is you can elect to give us money, and in return, we will give you access to sweet bonus content. The way our Patreon is set up is at the $3 level. You get access to all kinds of cool bonus episodes like Square Roots Versus and Instant Classic. And then at the $5 level, you get the ability to vote on mainline Square Roots games. We are kind of deliberating on exactly how many games we want to have up for voting, but it is a cool thing that you get to do. Super Mario RPG Bowser's Inside Story is a vote winner.
Mm-hmm. I'd say at least 2, potentially more, especially if we can't figure out what to play by ourselves.
Two's what we get.
Potentially vore?
No, I did not.
Okay.
2 is what we are currently promising, and we're talking about doing more than that.
Yeah. And another perk that every patron gets, no matter your level, we read the names of all of our patrons on every episode. So I will kick us off this week with Ron, Still Just Co, Vanessa Scruffy Distant Police Dad, G. Bailey, Sean, Mostly Rational Person, PJ Enns, Ari Corpivara, Hudson Roth, D. Jethro, Grayson, Joseph, Shining Hopper, Kevin Mosser, Mary Queen of Scots, Kenny Sloth, David Green, Isaac Wright, Vanessa's actual real mom, Tracy Tanoff, Bobby Midkiff 2 Golden, Andres Rivera, Sean Gonzalez, Hales, John Bersona Brandon, Jake Dickerson, Adam Zimmerman, OMG, What Is This Game? Race Jenkins, Captain
Still
Awesome,
applies.
William Westgard, Jonathan Ellsworth, Soy Soda Pop, and Randy Pierce.
We'd also like to thank Mr. Mallard, Sean Walsh, Vore More Years, Seltzer is the best drink. Every day is great at your Square Roots. It's peanut butter jelly time, Jason Timms, Andy M, Patrick W. Bears, Gage Lacharite is how John says it. Still not sure that's right. Andy Smith, Joshua Bennett, Sergeant Spaghetti, delicious. Teddy is a persona non grata. Time to update that name. Wash in the Wind, Robert T, Eunice's mom, Bree Girth, I don't like Stan, he's coarse, rough, and irritating, and he gets everywhere, that's true. Robert J. Defendi, Zachary Fire Ant Harbison, Matt is TJ Miller McMillerson III, okay. Matthew Newland, David Shook, hooray, Bowser's Inside Story won, unless it didn't, in which case, this name is wrong, and boo! Hey, update that one too. Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Stu Skeel, Alexander Jokic, Christopher Highness, Ethan G. Pearson, Knopfer Dan, Chris Pinyak, Brady A. Berman, Chris Wilder, Jonathan Smith, Kedekai as God Made Her, Chili's, Baby Back Mario, sure, Matthew Casterline.
That One Guy, Toxic Jock Syndrome, Michael Crawford, Kevin Walter, Hexagon, Armin Hammer, Florian Jonas Kramer, Tracy, Chief Hazard Built Justin Ham, Amanda Douglas, Eric Garby, Wedge Kuhn, Vanessa's Fourth Mom, Citrus C, Cake Ninja, Matt Jorgensen, Wonder Swan, Paul Birsch, Play Mother 3 or Quit Now, Frauds, Benjamin Avner to Bumpkins, You Make Sulk Sad, Teddy is a Little Creep, Andy Croissant, David Pascal, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS4, and Huxley Iguana.
It's a me, Vorio. Nathan Poirot, Sammy Mitchell, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Miguel Torres, Cameron Shoei, Andrew Leinart, Cyril the Wolf. Ow! Ryan Miller, Chris Ryan, Grey Code, Andy Best, Robert M. Pullum, Jameson, Jordan McNeil, Christian Go, Sam Harrison, Aaron Bachman, Ross Hartley, Saving Sid, Reddit is Harold Lauder, Getting Too Into TV Will Literally Kill You, Justin Rash, Brian Pitt, Ward Childress, Stephen Paget, Devin Sloan, Jared Collins, Lyriel of the Claire, Tom, Tyler Petty, and Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Andrew. Oh.
I think you missed George Brady.
Oh, George Brady. It's a story of a man named Brady who's living with 3 very lovely girls.
Hope you guys appreciate me reviewing your work.
No problem.
Give that a C-.
Oh.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to be read on air, our email address is squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group that we mentioned earlier, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Artist TBD.
All right, everybody. For Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Squelch Van Zant.
Which squatch, squishy, flop,
I'm
Bowser's
Johnny
Inside
Squirty
Story.
Brandon.
Squish, squish, squashy, blob, Bowser's Inside
All
Story.
right, well, that's Vanessa.
We broke Vanessa,
She's
unfortunately.
having a moment.
All right, 1, 2, 3, bye.
I'll miss you.
Inside Story.
Showtime.